Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Do you know these kind of moments in your life where everything is going towards perfection? Everything is going well, and everything that is happening is making you even more and more happy. But then you feel it, you know it, it's impossible that everything is going fantastically well. And there is indeed the one that you are expecting, that little annoying thing that is messing up everything. Well, this is a bit the weekend of all of us, the Juventini. Why? Because we start the weekend, of course, with a fantastic, beautiful win of Juve. I'm not speaking that much about the performance, but of course the win that is bringing us 3 points and that momentarily spot number 1 in the ranking of Serie A. Then Milan is not able to win, Napoli is not able to win, Atalanta is not able to win, and in the derby della Capitale between Lazio and Roma, 0-0. Everything is going perfect. If I speak a bit about my private life, yesterday evening, instead of watching football games on television, I went live, not to the Allianz Stadium, there was no game, but to the Bollard Stadium, the Stade of Lens. Why? Because there was the game, that big game between Lens and Marseille in Liga. I went with my son. I was happy because, you know, I'm a collector. I collect shirts. I also collect scarves. And I'm also collecting games that I'm going to, the stadiums that I'm watching, the teams that I'm watching. And I put all of that in my Momento app. Guys, it's just a fantastic app. I already spoke about it. Sincerely, it's a really beautiful app. So I was there in that game yesterday. I watched from the distance Gennaro Gattuso, coach of Marseille. And it's always a pleasure to see Gennaro Gattuso. I'm not speaking about his coaching skills, but it's the guy that won the World Cup with Italy in 2006, so I will be forever grateful to him. All the people that were playing in that 2006 Italian team, they will always be here, except of one, but that's Materazzi, and it's another story. I don't want to speak too much about it. You know what was even going towards perfection? When L'Equipe, that is today the front page of France, is going towards Nord Éclair, flashy north, because indeed Lens was able to beat Marseille at the 90th minute, and my son and myself, we start to be a bit lucky charms. We go 2 games and the home team is winning in the added minutes towards the visitors. That's something epic. In football, there is nothing better than winning at the last minute. Before going back to Serie A and speaking about Juve, if you're curious and you said, Beppe, what is that app that you're speaking about, Momento? Well, look at the games that I already went in 2023. I'm collecting them, but I already started in 2004. If you want to, it's totally for free. Link is into the description. Momento app. You download it with my link and then you start collecting. Let me know how many games you watched live. I'm really curious where you also watched them. But anyway, everything was going towards perfection until that goal of Di Marco. Beautiful goal. Puskas award probably, or one that will compete for that award, because that ball is coming without controlling. He sees the goalkeeper a bit far away, goal. And that goal is opening actually the 2-0 of the Nerazzurri against Frosinone. The team of Sule was not able to beat them. I appreciated the words of Sule because he said before the game, we'll try to beat Inter. Of course, we are focusing on Frosinone. We want to do it for Frosinone. But in the meanwhile, if we can do a little gift to Juve, and with a little smile he said, we will do it. I really appreciate that. Looks like he's a bit... still a big Juventino. Now that we speak about Serie A, I take away the scarf of the Saint-Or, putting it away. What is actually that win of Inter representing? They are at +2. They are taking back their spot, number 1 in Serie A, with Juventus second at -2. But the interesting thing is all the other results, because you see that now Milan is at -6, Napoli -8, -9 for Atalanta and Fiorentina, and then the 2 team from Roma, -11 for the team of Mourinho, -12 for the team of Maurizio Sarri. And that's really interesting because it's giving us a bonus. Speaking about the derby della Capitale, yesterday, a minute of silence for the guys that decided to watch Lazio-Roma because nothing happened. 0-0 except of a bit of fight between Immobile and Roma, a lot of yellow cards. Nothing else happened. No shots on goal, and I tell you, minutes of silence because there was another game in the same moments. We are speaking about Chelsea against Manchester City, 4-4. What an incredible, crazy game. I believe as a neutral, that's one of the epic games of the season, the game that you have to watch. Unfortunately, a minute of silence for myself because I was not there in the stadium. Some people made me laugh on the internet because instead of calling it El Clásico like Real Madrid Barcelona, they called it El Plastico, the plastic derby. Anyway, that made me really laugh. Going back to Serie A, Napoli lost yesterday at the 93rd minute. Fantastic goal from Empoli. And it's a disaster because the team that was winning the Scudetto last year, instead of opening a cycle, because De Laurentiis was already telling, now we want to continue to win the Scudetto and we want to win the Champions League, well, they are about to sack the coach, because it's already written, Garcia sei fuori, Garcia you are out, Garcia out. With De Laurentiis, that is a fury, is pissed off. I have to admit, he needs to blame himself, because he's the one that watched and spoke with 50 different coaches. That's his word. 50 different coaches before identifying the right coach for Napoli. Rudy Garcia, that after matchday 12 is about to be sacked. And who can be his successor? Well, it is Igor Tudor, ex-Juve player, ex-vice coach of Andrea Pirlo at Juventus, a coach that could have been the actual coach of 23-24 of Juve. At the end, we continue with Allegri, and at the moment, Igor is without team. Not sure if he will accept, but there are talks, and today could be possibly the announcement of Igor Tudor. I have to say, yesterday I watched Marseille after them being second or third. They were third in La Ligue last year and playing a really beautiful football. Well, after that, Marseille is doing extremely bad. So Igor Tudor is a really great coach. Why am I speaking about the danger of having Igor Tudor on the bench of Napoli? Because on the 8th of December, there will be Juve Napoli. Who will be there on the bench? Will it be Tudor? Will it be Conte? That looks like he refused for the second time the calls of De Laurentiis. Or will it be Cannavaro or Mazzarri? Well, let's see. Today we will know a bit more. Not only Napoli, disaster, but also Milan. Milan crack. Il Milan fa crack. A lot of injuries for the rossoneri. The next game that will be played after international break will be without a lot of their players, because they have a lot of injuries. Not only Leao, that is injured and that will probably not even play in Champions League against Dortmund, but also Olivier Giroud, that received a red card. And why is it interesting for Juventini? Because the next game Milan will play against Fiorentina. Not only that, Atalanta will play against Napoli. So 2 games that are in favor of Juve, especially if we know that we have a margin of +6. But that's where we are going towards the game against Inter. Mago Inter magician. And I have to say, Gazzetta dello Sport, they are correctly putting Di Marco on that front page. Why? Because they are first in the ranking, because he scored a fantastic goal. And I agree with everything. Which I don't agree with the title of Gazzetta dello Sport is when they are speaking about Allegri. Perché Allegri punta sul 26? Why is Allegri betting on the 26? And if the title there is already a bit dubious, a bit annoying, because that word puntare, betting, but you say maybe it's a mistake, maybe it's not what they meant. When you're opening the page and you go towards that big title with that big graphic, guys, a disgusting title by Gazzetta dello Sport. Max punta sul 26. Max is betting on the 26th, referring to the 26th of November, the day of Juve Inter, with Moiskin, Federico Chiesa, Adrien Rabiot on these kind of chips where you are betting on poker. Absolutely not the beautiful. This is low class from Gazzetta dello Sport. Do I want to even read the article? Absolutely not. They don't deserve that we are spending time. But again, I think that if you're trying to beat gambling and all these kind of things, they could have avoided. They really could have avoided. Low class from Gazzetta dello Sport. On the other side, Tutto Sport is speaking about also Max Allegri, that is not only winning with Juve, but he's also winning with the horses race, because we know that Max Allegri, he's owning a few horses that are competing, and one of his horses is called Fly by Fly. My cat is called McFly. His horse is called Fly by Fly. What a really strange name for a horse. Anyway, yesterday he won that competition of horses. It was really funny to see a Max Allegri being able. Tutto Sport is going towards Juve da Scudetto e se batte l'Inter. So you have Boninsegna, the ex-player from Inter and Juve. Long time ago, that is speaking. He's saying Juventus is already a Scudetto team. And if they beat Inter, attenzione. Attenzione what? If we beat Inter, we go at +1. With so many games still to be played, it's too early. Let's not exaggerate. We have time to speak about and then what will happen. I think it's a bit an exaggeration. Is Juventus already a Scudetto team? Well, at the moment, if we're looking at the ranking, yes. When we are looking at the performance, I believe that Juventus has still a lot of room for improvement. Then, I believe a bit more at the title of Corriere dello Sport that is going towards Strafalcioni. favorita, super favorite Inter, because it is what it is. We are already saying it before the start of the season. Inter is the super favorite. If they lose the Scudetto, they can blame themselves because they have everything to win the Scudetto this year. Then, of course, if we continue to be there attached to Inter, maybe winning the Derby d'Italia, maybe continue with the fantastic, beautiful streak of wins, and in the Mercato we are able to do one player, two players, maybe that Kalvin Phillips that yesterday didn't play a single minute in that Plastico, just to referring to that joke that was done earlier. Hey, who knows if Juventus can reinforce themselves, but we have to hold on. We have to hold on and continue what we are doing now. Otherwise, if you go at -4, -7, it's too late. So let's keep and hold on until January, and after the January Mercato, we can really say if Juventus is a Scudetto team, yes or no. I want to speak as well about two other things, because some people are asking me, Beppe, can you from time to time speak about the next gen? Can you speak about the women team? Well, I want to finish with that one for that first video of the day. Full time yesterday between next gen team of Juventus and Carrarese. Next gen, they lost another time after the win in Coppa Italia Serie C of the midweek. This time in Serie C, they were not able to win. We know it. Juventus next gen has changed from the Serie C A group to the B group, and that's a much more difficult group. Yesterday they lost, and I wanted to point that because we had 3 starters from our first team actually, because Huijsen played, Yildiz played, and even Nonje played, and the ratings are absolutely not beautiful. A 5 for Nonje that didn't do any impact, 5.5 for Huijsen, so not a beautiful score. The only one that really excelled and showed really glimpses of fantastic football was Yildiz with a rating 7. Why am I speaking about that? Because these young guys, especially Yildiz and Huijsen, has been promoted now definitely, and they are doing really well, and we see them growing. But for the people that are saying we want them starters for every single game, calma, paciencia, being patient. These guys are growing, they are doing well, they are gaining in experience. They will have their time to play more and more minutes. But at the moment they are doing fantastic, beautiful steps. But if they are not able to win against Carrarese, of course they are not playing 3 against 11, but you know, if they are not able to do the difference in Serie C at the moment, it's difficult to do it in Serie A. So time for time they will grow and we will have some patience. Then Juventus women, after losing, unfortunately, if I'm not wrong, 3-1 against Roma the last game, and losing that first spot in Serie A, yesterday they went back to victory with a 3-0 with goals of Salvai Cecilia, Caruso, beautiful goal, and then the one of Thomas. 3-0 against the surprise of this season, Como, and they are there again, opening again, hopefully a winning streak. So I'm happy for the women. Unfortunately, Roma won as well, so we are still not first. We are second in Serie A of the women. So that's a bit all the news that I wanted to share with you. Unfortunately, it is international break now, so a lot of players from our team are going away. The good news is that Arkadiusz Milik has not been called up with Poland, so he will stay in La Continassa, but a lot of other players are traveling, are playing games. So what will we focus on? Athletic part, so that all the players that are in La Continassa will try to gain their form as well. Wea will not travel, Danilo will not travel, Alexandro will not travel, De Sciglio not traveling, Rugani will stay in La Continassa. So we have still some players, not a lot, because I believe 15 between under and first team will travel, but we'll try to focus on recuperating form. And I believe that this time the international break was needed, because a lot of time our B players, let's call them like that, the anti-heroes, were solving the games, but we need a bit of break of Serie A so that also our big stars like Chiesa, like Dusan Vlahovic, are able to come back with a smile, with some positivity before the Derby d'Italia that will be played on the 26th of November. Thank you for listening. Grazie ragazzi, to put a maximum of like, to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza Juve.